All right, Carl. Before I tell you my creep's name today, I want to show you a picture.
Okay.
Ladies,
He was the fifth Beatle, I believe, right?
no, Carl, he
No?
was not. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Hadden Clark.
Okay.
Hadden is a raging monster retard. That's the only three words I could use to
Those are the
describe
people
this
that we
guy.
want in our military, Vinny. That's kind of the whole point. That's who we're recruiting.
Folks, I'm sorry to do this to you, but I got a presentation ready to go on this guy
boy.
because
all right, strap in, everyone.
this guy's a fucking problem.
If you guys want to
day
come
one.
back for the Carl's Cop Cam, I'll text you all when Vinny's done.
Now,
I'll put on a tweet.
he was raised in Troy, New York. He came from a very rich family. His grandfather served as the mayor of White Plains, New York. His father was a Korean War veteran with a MBA and a PhD in chemistry. And I'm telling you this for a reason. His father had a very notable career. He invented fire retardant carpeting and plastic cling wrap.
Oh, cool.
Now, he did that while working for the Reynolds Company, who owned the patents and didn't give him any bonuses or anything. They just took the...
That's how that works.
Yeah. And because of that, he became a bitter drunk. His wife, whose
Wait, so
name...
why am I a bitter drunk then? I haven't had patents stolen from me.
Just your parents were also bitter drunks.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Just travels down the road. His wife's name was Flavia. She was a homemaker and also a bad drunk. They had 4 kids, 3 boys, and finally a girl. Hadden was the third child. He was born with some handicaps, Carl, so I know you could sympathize.
Oh, wait, let me guess.
I'm club-fucking-footed, you asswipe.
No.
Okay.
His mother blames all of his issues on a bad forceps delivery, which she said had given him a head injury. She brought him to Yale University's Child Study Center when he was 4 years old. The doctor said he had some form of cerebral palsy and perhaps mild brain damage. His father then gave him a really cute nickname after that doctor's visit.
Yeah.
He called him the retard.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Now, his brain injury manifested in a lot of weird ways, Carl. For example, he could not walk on a pattern.
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Sorry, I got some dead air in that drop. I stumbled on you. What were you saying?
No, it's all right. He could not walk on patterned carpet, Carl.
Oh.
Like, his brain could not process it.
Oh, God. So him in a casino would be hilarious
He would
to
just
watch.
fall fucking down.
Okay.
And, like, if he looked at your shirt, he would fall the fuck over.
Well,
So-
that's retarded.
They taped his mother, didn't really take care of him with this. They ended up taping padding around his head before she would let him go out to play.
Okay.
So obviously kids made fun of him. The problem was that he handled it in very violent ways. He was a very violent child, Carl. If he was a dog, Christy Nome would have shot him herself. Okay? When he left the house, it was like the show The Wire. All the other kids at the playground were like, Hadden's coming. And they'd all fucking book it. Because this kid would straight up attack, kick, punch, bite other kids on sight. On multiple occasions, Carl, as a child, he would behead the pets of the kids who made fun of them and leave them on their doorsteps.
Some Eric Cartman level shit.
We're talking
right there.
dogs. We're talking cats.
Okay.
Okay?
But the other kids were making fun of him, though?
Yes.
Okay.
He was a raging retard, though, legitimately. His brother was, his 2 brothers, his older brothers were complete garbage, too.
If I grew up in this neighborhood, I would definitely have had a headless cat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you wouldn't have been able to get away either.
That's true.
Your sister would have been trying to pull you away in the wagon, and he would have been running after you with this fucking football helmet on.
Fuck you!
Oh, man, if he got a hold of you, you'd have been fucked. So his brothers were garbage, too. His oldest brother, Bradfield, was jailed in 1985 after murdering his coworker before slicing off her breasts and cooking them on a barbecue and eating them.
Why isn't that your creep?
Because it wasn't in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah. His other brother may or may not have molested his own children, and Hadden is the worst.
Okay, if you say so.
So his mother, Flavia, really wanted a daughter, right? She had 3 boys, and if she had just waited, she would have gotten a girl. But she was a drunk. So what she did was, because she was so disappointed in Hadden being born, she used to get drunk and dress him up in dresses and call him Kristen.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, sure. But he got older, and it became a little
isn't
more
that
creepy
Helga's
and pervy.
origin story too? Helga Man? I think it's something similar to that.
It's not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay.
No, well, Helga inside said she knew she was a girl. Hadden was like his mom forced it on him.
I see.
And he got older and creepier and pervy. He really liked wearing women's clothes. Both of his parents caught him wearing women's underwear in his teens that they did not know where he got them. And then the police started routinely bringing him home for peeping. He was running around the neighborhood looking in windows as a kid. His father would punish him for this. Listen to this shit. His dad would get loaded and hide outside the bathroom door and wait for Hadden to get out of the shower, like naked.
Mhm.
And then he would jump out and beat the shit out of him with a belt. And he would yell shit at him like, "How do you like getting peeped on, bitch?" And he would just like beat him with the belt. But in 1964, at 14 years old, he murdered his first victim.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it was a boy he claimed he blacked out because he was so angry, strangled him, and his father helped him cover it up.
That's nice of him. All right.
Agreed.
Now we got some father-son activities going on.
This was also never proven.
It's not the
We'll
Boy
explain
Scouts,
why,
but
but this
something.
is all on his word that his dad helped him. Now, in spite of all the difficulty of being an ultra-violent, ultra-horny retard, he was able to graduate high school at the age of 21, Carl.
All right. Well, at least you got there, buddy.
Yeah. And his grandfather helped pull some strings, right? And got him into the very fucking prestigious Culinary Institute of America, which he graduated from in 1974.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he was a weirdo who could not keep a job because he was obsessed with revenge. If you did anything to this guy, he fucking lost his mind and he had to get back at you. So ultimately, he was fired from 14 kitchens in 4 years.
Okay.
Some of the reasons, he got mad at a chef and urinated in vats of mashed potatoes in retaliation. And then he also did weird things. Like one place fired him because they found him in the cooler drinking beef blood.
Oh, that's frowned upon, I would imagine.
They're like, "You need to leave, sir." His personal life started falling apart. His parents divorced. His father dies from cancer. He moves up where his grandparents lived in Cape Cod. He later confessed to having killed several women, burying her nude under the sand dune, first removed her hand at the wrist, and used the fingers as experimental bait for surf fishing.
How did that work?
Probably not well.
Okay.
Again, this was consistent with the Jane Doe that they found around the time, but he was never charged. They're pretty sure he was on that. This was him. So what is a lunatic going to do? He's got nothing in his life. He's miserable. It's time to join the Navy, Carl.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
This fucking lunatic
We need rejects
was
like you.
accepted into the Navy.
Sure.
He's assigned duty as a below deck cook, and Carl, he excelled. This was the best he ever did. 5 years in, proud service, cooking for our boys and girls, women at sea.
It's actually not a bad gig.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Until they caught him wearing frilly underwear under his uniform.
Oh, is that frowned upon in the Navy?
Frowned upon.
What year was this? Is it in the 70s
This
or 80s?
was in the 70s.
Yeah, it's frowned upon.
Well, early 80s.
Now he'd probably get 3 medals for that. But back then it was
Brigadier
frowned upon.
General.
Yes.
Hadden Clark. So they also beat him up and locked him in a meat freezer for 3 hours after they caught him in the women's underwear. So the Navy is a lot of fun. Navy's fun. Those guys know how to have
Was
a
there
good
any
time.
beef blood in there that he could drink while he's
No.
killing the time?
But he did suffer from a concussion after that situation because they banged his head against the aircraft carrier deck while they were dragging him around.
Now, Vinny, I don't normally pay attention to what you're saying because your presentation isn't great, but I would imagine he wanted to get revenge on these people.
Sure.
Would be my guess of what's happening next.
Well, he's just very upset with his life, and he's discharged from the Navy because they diagnosed him a paranoid schizophrenic,
Okay.
which was a real rubber stamp thing. They didn't know what the fuck was wrong with him. They just knew they didn't want him anymore. It's like paranoid schizophrenic. Bye.
You crazy.
Yeah. So he moves in with his creepy pedo brother and his children in Silver Springs, Maryland. In October of 1985, he confessed to killing a woman named Sarah Pryor and leaving her corpse at Wayland Field, which was a baseball park in the neighborhood. It has not been confirmed that Clark was the killer. This is another one that he, gave them all the evidence, but
Oh, he probably just wanted attention afterwards.
well, maybe. January 1986, he's arrested for shoplifting women's underwear. His creepy brother had to go bail him out from jail. And then in May of 1986, his brother finally had to ask him to leave the house.
Wait a second. Are you going to tell me this is Lisa Boswell? Is that what this is all going to? Because
Not
that's going to be
exactly.
incredible.
Not exactly.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't it be great if this was Lisa?
That'd be so fucking
And
funny.
then she was playing, then all of a sudden Hadden was playing drums for Eddie Money.
Yep.
But his brother had to ask him to move out because he didn't like the fact that he was masturbating in front of his niece and nephew.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
Yeah. He was like, I'm the only one allowed to do that in my house. I'm the only one allowed to do creepy sex stuff to my children.
I didn't finish on them. What's the problem? Why are you getting so upset, bro?
Well, he hated his 6-year-old niece. Hated her. Mainly because she started calling him his least favorite childhood nickname, the retard.
Oh, that's fun.
So the 6-year-old is just fucking dunking on him all the time.
Thank you!
And he is really mad. His brother had told him to move out, and I got to tell you, something very unfortunate happened that day.
Okay.
The brother took the kids out, said, get all your shit, get out, be gone by the time we get back. Well, while they were gone, her little neighbor friend, a little girl named Michelle Dorr, the 6-year-old friend of the niece, came over looking for her while they were moving all the things out.
Mm-hmm.
Clark said, oh, she's upstairs. And she went up to her room. He walked out to his truck and hold on.
Oh boy. I feel like there's a reveal coming.
Yeah, it is a knife kit.
Okay.
Yeah, this is his knife.
Oh, he's
kit.
a chef. That's
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah, so he went out to his truck, got his knife kit, and then he decided to slash this little 6-year-old girl's throat.
Oh.
Then he decided to lose his virginity.
Oh. He's a virgin at this time?
Yeah, well, who's fucking him?
I guess that's why he was
Jacking it, jack. Spanking it, spanking it, smack.
He then decided to drink some of this 6-year-old girl's blood.
Oh boy.
Ate a piece of her flesh and stuffed her into a duffel bag. He buried her in a park 12 miles away.
I heard that's great for arthritis, though. Is that true?
It is. But here's the good thing about it. Because he was a prep cook and a chef, he knew how to clean that shit up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
No one had any idea he did this in this house. No one
Impressive.
had any fucking clue. The police blamed this little girl's father. And he fucking, his life was ruined. The father of this girl.
Right, his brother.
No. This
Oh, this
isn't the niece. This is the niece's friend.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, this is him going back to his childhood and murdering the pet of the person who made fun of him.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to I'll show her. The little friend came over, fucking slices her throat, rapes her. Oh, my God. So he's homeless now. Where does he go? Back to his mom's. And he stays with his mom till about 1988, until she confronts him about stealing items from her house. Now, he retaliates by knocking her down to the floor and kicking her in the face and in the ribs. Then she ran out of the house and tried to go get help from the neighbors. He then jumped into his, that's not it. Jumped into his truck, this one right here, and tried to run over his own mother with it in the front lawn of their house.
That truck sucks.
Yes, it does.
I hate that truck.
No wonder she survived. The next day, she presses charges for assault and battery. He gets 1-year probation from the Rhode Island judge. His mother writes him a letter telling him she does not love him anymore and will pretend he is dead from now on. So, he's homeless now. What does he do? Weird fact about this guy, he always had money. He had a ton of cash in the bank.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
He worked all these jobs. He had money from his grandfather dying.
He
from his
lived
dad
modestly,
dying.
huh?
Yeah, he was just a crazy person, dude. He's literally a lunatic.
Right.
Now, he's completely estranged from his family. He ends up renting in a basement apartment from this very innocent family. The guy who owned this house described Hadden as, quote, twisted and evil.
Yep. That's pretty good description, I would say.
And he evicted him because he was so concerned about Hadden's behavior toward his oldest daughter who had just come home from college. So he ended up having to file charges against Hadden, who was obsessed with revenge again after finding out that Hadden booby-trapped the place before he left.
Oh, that's fun.
He rigged a 10-gallon oil can over the door so when they opened it, it would spill out all over the floor.
You're supposed to do that with water.
He sprayed black dye all over the living room floors.
Oh,
he
boy.
hid rotting fish heads in the piano, chimney, and stove.
Jesus Christ.
And then he killed the family's cats, placing one in the stove and one on the welcome mat, and stole a bunch of shit.
Bitch.
So he gets charged with destruction of property. He pled guilty as part of a deal. He also was caught with an unlicensed firearm, which you don't want this fucking guy running around with a gun. No jail time served.
Really?
His year sentence was suspended, and he was assigned a probation officer in order to get psychiatric treatment. Guess what? Never got it.
No, probably wouldn't have helped anyway.
So what's he going to do now, Carl?
I don't know.
He's homeless.
Yeah.
He moves off the grid outside of Rockville, Maryland. Even though he has like $60K in his bank account at the time, he chooses to live in a tent in the woods.
Okay.
This one right here.
Mm-hmm.
He rides around town on a pair of rollerblades, calling himself.
This
This is him. Here's a great picture of old Hadden.
I thought we were going to go one episode without talking about the letter alphabet people.
He's rolling around town on a pair of rollerblades, and he calls himself the Rockville Rocket.
Nice.
He's a what you would call a local character.
Jesus Christ.
Now, in February 1989, he's arrested after another brilliant crime spree. Hadden dressed up as a woman, which he liked to do in his personal time, and went to local churches while they were having church. It would go into the coat rooms dressed as a woman and would steal all the purses and everything that he could find in there. So he ends up getting pulled over by police. They find him once again with a gun that he shouldn't have had, women's wigs, dresses, syringes, and a bundle of cash. He pled guilty on 2 counts of theft, one over 300, one under 300. He gets 18 months for this, but the judge suspends it and says, buddy, you have some serious mental problems. You need to get yourself some help.
Okay.
And they let him walk again.
That doesn't make any sense, Rick.
He's murdered women, a child,
Cats,
countless cats. And he's just living out in the woods, and he meets this woman named Penny Huntelling. And this poor lady sees him as just kind of a sad case. He's running around with a stupid jersey and helmet on and his rollerblades.
knee pads.
Dude, so she hires him to come and be do garden work and yard work at his house.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. Hadden looked at her as his new mommy.
Uh-oh.
He has a new mommy.
Ruh-roh.
Hadden has a new mommy. And it turns out that he didn't treat his mommy very well. He treated her like his old mommy, and he started stealing stuff from her house. She notices her pearls, underwear, and clothing started to go missing. Penny's daughter, Laura, returns home from Harvard, where she just graduated from, and he becomes very jealous of this.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, hey, dude, just stay outside of the house. We don't want you in the house, because she finds him one day in her bedroom, like with one of her dresses on, looking in the mirror.
Okay.
He's supposed to be outside doing yard work, and
Yeah.
you find this guy in your bedroom wearing a dress. You're like, okay, Hadden, you're going to have to stay outside now. Then the tools in the shed and everything start disappearing.
Okay.
And she gets a little bit more upset. And he says, listen, I can't have you around here anymore, Hadden. It's fucking revenge time.
Okay.
He goes to the house and he enters through a back door and uses a kitchen knife to stab the daughter to death in her bedroom while he suffocates her with a pillow.
There have been no laughs.
What do you mean?
None.
He then raped her and then put on her underwear that she was wearing. He wrapped her in a bedsheet, carried her through the woods, burying her within a half mile of the house. When moving her body, he accidentally left a bloody fingerprint on the pillowcase.
Mm.
Later, he goes back to the house dressed in women's clothes and a wig to make the neighbors think Laura left the house alone. A month later, authorities arrested Clark after discovering the fingerprint on one of the pillowcases. Now, according to prison authorities, he pleads guilty to this, and he gets sentenced to 30 years.
Okay.
While he's in prison, this fucking lunatic was a terror. Okay. I told you about my creep last week who was like jerking off in the showers and looking at the women.
Yeah.
He's in men's prison, and he was wouldn't shower, wouldn't clean up, would take scraps of food, stuff them in milk containers, and like leave them around his bed so it fucking stunk. He was a nightmare. But they bring in a roommate, and his roommate had long hair and a goatee and like a beard, and Hadden legitimately thought it was Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's fun.
And he was like,
Jesus Christ.
and he's like, hey, Jesus, we're roomies, pal. And he starts confessing to all these crimes.
Oh, fun.
He confesses to the murder of Michelle Dorr, the little girl. This guy who thinks is Jesus takes this to the warden.
Turns
and
out
rats
Jesus
him out.
is a rat.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought Jesus?
Dude. And the FBI starts getting involved because he was in the area. Everything's starting to line up. And they go, listen, you're in here for life, dude. You're not going anywhere, Hadden. And Hadden goes, all right, I'll cooperate. I'll tell you where Michelle Dorr and Laura's bodies are.
Okay.
But I'll only do it if you give me some panties I can wear and a wig.
All right, it's fair.
So they did.
Fair enough.
And then they took this guy, traipsing around in his wig, wearing his women's underwear through the woods. Doesn't he look lovely? That's Kristen. He had a name for Kristen.
Hey, Kristen.
Her name is Kristen Bluefin. And Kristen is very flirty with all the cops. And they would all go out. And dude, the worst part about all of this roommate, the only way that Hadden would agree to go find these bodies and show them where they were is if they brought the roommate with them too. Jesus. So this poor guy's got to get dragged around with this.
I just wanted to rat on my creepy roommate. I don't want to be a part of his life now.
Yeah, now he's got to fight. DeWyatt Christian. He looks like Tom Myers.
Oh, gosh. That's so mean. So
Yeah.
mean to say.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he ended up getting sentenced to another 30 years. On December 15th of 2000, though, he led investigators to his grandparents' former property, where they discovered a plastic bucket with more than 200 pieces of jewelry inside, including Laura Hunting's high school class ring. They do not know how many people this guy killed, but he had a lot of fucking trophies.
I see.